basically, to I guess break it down as lame
Do you
as
understand
I
what
can
plugins
get.
are?
No,
Okay.
So there's like,
We'll go back to the beginning, right?
Yeah.
With engineering, right, there's basic pieces of gear like compressors, EQs, things that change the sound, things that can control the sound,
For
okay?
Sure.
And for the most part, before digital recording was introduced, there was very limited. You had compressors, limiters, EQs, like very basic things. You would use them on all the channels and maybe use one or two EQs. And then back in the day, imagine like an old telephone operator, right? I want to take this kick drum that's here and I want to use this EQ, so I'm going to patch a cable over here, and then I'm going to patch another cable over here, and then you have this thing that eventually will look like that doesn't even exist in modern studios anymore, called a patch bay, that basically is all the ins and out points of all the gear, right?
All of it,
All the gear, when you see racks of gear in studios, you know, and not saying not modern studios don't have them, nice ones do, but a lot of project, this is a smaller like room where we don't need it because we just have less gear in there.
and the reason so is because nowadays, so getting to the digital side of things, there's especially at this point, the quality you can get even, but there's all these recreations now. So all the stuff that used to be only available in analog form, or you'd have to spend so much money to get, or you only have a certain limited amount of these pieces of gear around. Now you can have infinite digital versions of those
there's digital
EQs,
versions
compressors,
of gear
preamps.
Yeah, you don't need all of
that's
that
called
space.
that's called
Not
plugins, right?
Oh,
And so
got it.
the theory and our thing that we go back and forth with a lot is, digital audio is a sample of real audio, right? It's ones and zeros. It's a file. It's right, and the more you process it, right, the more you put it through more algorithmic equations to create, because every plugin is just a bunch of algorithms and
to
modify
this
it.
digital representation.
Although yes, you can change it and manipulate it, I personally feel, and a lot of people will maybe also feel, that the more you add to that,
I agree.
the less. No, you don't. You lose. You lose quality. There's degradation in the quality of the audio, and like less is more. Just the theory that less is more.
But
all right?
Not fully. No, I agree, and that's what I was trying to say.
So maybe I'll use one plugin and just take larger, broader strokes, just to put it in layman's terms.
Yeah.
I'll find George with 2 or 3 plugins, and each one is doing like little micro things, and I'm like, all together as a collective, just that could be done with one plugin, and now we're using more things, and it's just so it's just as an example.
It's also so I'm
but then
used
also
to
have some
using
cool,
a lot of digital, so I guess I've spoiled myself in that sense where I'm constant, I'm like, okay, whether I can.
It doesn't
use 3
matter
now,
because I can add as many plugins as I want.
But it's better to. I think you're right. I think it's better to do, if you can accomplish the same thing
was
with
that
less.
on tape? What did he say?
Sometimes
He filmed it, whatever.
most
right?
often, more often than not, it's better to accomplish that with less. But with what you can accomplish these days in the digital world, it's like often I'll find myself like, hey, why not? I'm gonna throw an extra little plugin just to get this done or to get this little sound. But I think the one thing we can agree on that we usually do is that there's a tasteful amount of that you got to use. If you're gonna go down that rabbit hole of plugins or crafting a sound further or whatever, it's like, okay, there's a tasteful amount that you've got to be
but
doing.
It also provides a lot of cool things where he'll find and be like, oh, look at this cool plugin I found, where I'm not necessarily even looking for it, and I'm like, that is pretty cool. Some crazy reverb or delay.
Say that
again.
You should say that one again.
You find a lot. No, he finds a lot of cool things that I wouldn't, necessarily be looking for, because to me, 50, 60 years of classic music that will never not be good was made on the little EQ, the compressor, and the limiter, and you don't need 50 different versions of it to do it if you know the tool and the path that you want to get to with it.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's gonna lead to my next question, which is
it's not the Indian, it's the arrow, it's the Indian.
So the Slightly Stoopid sound,
yes.
Or if we were talking about Usher, right? Or
yes.
Did I read correctly that you worked on Amy Winehouse's Back to Black album?
I assisted the mixing engineer on that.
Okay. Less plugins or more plugins?
No, less plugins.
Less plugins.
But $1 million analog console with room full of gear being used to
Oh.
mix. So
And also a style of music that kind of comes from the more limited or less
sure.
processed
organic,
world,
more
which
organic.
it fits.
Yeah.
That stuff's incredible. The sound like.
But that you would agree that the newer sound is using more
Distortion.
yeah.
No,
More,
plug-
not more plugins, more layeredness. But sometimes
it depends on the music you're listening to, and it depends on the
that's true.
genre. And
What genre did you grow up on?
the first CD I ever owned was a Boyz II Men record.
Fuck yes! Hell yes!
One or
The
the pre
the first
Motown
one,
Philly
the
stuff.
Motown Philly one.